So to create a new design here, I usually don't use this option, create form, because it's to create or sculpt forms. I think this is more used on the Maya and 3ds Max, but it's possible to do here. It enters in a new environment where all the menus are similar to what we have on the other. So some of them you can add. These are basically the same as the other. We can also edit the forms, symmetry to duplicate, and then other things, and also some features exactly the same as in the other mode. I'll just create a box and show you that it's possible to create something or start from something. Only a few points, but we can add points here, here, and here to get more resolution. It's already getting a little bit slower. I think this is it. Desculpa. No model, create scope. Aqui. Create form. Aqui ou aqui? Create form. Também dá create mesh. There's different kinds of mesh and and form features. Well, I can create on this environment and then send to the other with the same body, I believe. But at least it should. Yeah. So my mistake. It creates a new environment, and this you can sculpt. From what I got from this is that you can use this tool to sculpt the form. Okay, I create like a cube. I modify to edit the points or area. If I want to edit the area also, it pulls everything. Another point also, just to I'll pull further. Okay, so this form can be sent finished form, and now I have a molded form, but already on this environment, normal environment, let's say, model environment, and it stays as a solid piece or body. This is mostly used for modelers for doing characters or other parts where it needs an organic and it's harder to create on this environment. You can shape and reshape. You can also take it to this environment and make a few changes, but I've never seen use for this patch. I suppose it's more for meshes and grids than actually the forms that we are creating. I've done this only to show you that you can do it. You can look a little bit into it. I usually don't. This is not the goal to use or mold anything on 3D. So I'll save both square, doesn't mind. I'll open another new design. So right now I want you to build the same thing, exactly the same thing I'm going to do. Okay, Let's try to do a little bit faster because we'll then jump to the cam session. So let's start with this plane, the bottom plane. Create a rectangle or square 50 by 50. Let's put dimensions here to avoid this from moving. This will be the same as this one. Click E to extrude. Another 30. Now I click C to circle on this sketch. Oop, not the center. And I place it 40, 45. Extrude again. Another 25. So 30 height here, 25 here, 50, and the other 45. You can inspect by clicking here and see that my diameter is 45. Am I right? The length or the perimeter of this circumference is 141, the radius 22 and a half, and the centers and the points. If I click on the surface, it will give me the area. So the inspect can give you all the information you need about that shape. After this, I'll create a circle on this one with 20, and I'll extrude cut 20 again, just to create a hole in the middle of the circumference, not the full length. I'll edit this one again, add another circle here, let's say 8 millimeters, exit, and now I can't see the sketch. I'll come here, put the sketch on, extrude this one down to object, this face, to go all the way. So part of the hole is only halfway, and then the hole of 8 millimeters full way. We can add a fillet to the inside. We'll get a pretty shape here. Let's place another fillet. You can use F key as a shortcut. A smaller one here, 1.5. The inside is 10, the outside 1.5. We're almost there? No. It was too fast? So, to remind, C to create circles, R for rectangles or squares, F for fillet when you're out of the sketch, E to extrude. Every time you press E on a sketch, it's going to exit and start the sketch, the extrude option. Fillet is F. In this case I don't want to move, but you can move by pressing M. It will open move and copy. Select and just use the arrows to move, but we won't need this. Now in the front view, just click on the box or the cube. Front view, I want another circle here on this face, not the origin, the face. Just run through the line, find the center, come down, and do the center with 10. Again, extrude this, change the perspective, go back a little to this surface to cross the holes. After this, save. This part has a base connector. Before we go to the cam, we'll try to make a small assembly to show how to fit parts inside the others. No mesmo sketch, espera, estás-me a falar deste. Este sketch, ele desapareceu. Tu tens que vir aqui, sketches, pões para aparecer, fazes extrude com o E e puxas lá para o fundo e colocas até ao fundo. Está bem? Não? Queres que eu faça? Aqui. Eu fiz o extrude, depois aqui, to object e escolhes até o fundo. Is this part ready? No? Não é preciso criar planos, eu não criei planos nenhuns. Este era só ir clicando nas faces e ir adicionando. Vai aqui, edita este sketch, vê, edita este sketch, adiciona a outra circunferência. Porque tu já não tens a referência aqui em cima, não é? Não tens o plano aqui em cima. Mas vê, podias utilizar esta margem, que é igual. Esta margenzinha está paralela às outras, dava para utilizar. Por exemplo, o problema que ela está tendo é, agora que está este redondo, eu não consigo criar um sketch aqui. O que tu podias fazer era usar esta margem para novo. Imagina que eu quero mais uma circunferência. Em vez de eu escolher aqui esta superfície que não dá, eu escolhi este porque está paralela a tudo o resto. Estás a perceber? Se eu pusesse uma circunferência aqui, se não tivesse, há duas opções. Ou criavas um offset daqui, um plano de offset, para aqui para cima. Ou então ias ao sketch anterior, antes de fazer os cortes e os perfis, e adicionavas o teu e usavas aquele sketch.
Como é que fizeste essa
Como assim? Este círculo, ou de dentro. Faça usar a timeline para mostrar. Vou pôr todo ativo. Okay. Tenho aqui os sketches todos que eu usei. Então, iniciei com este sketch. Passei para o cubo, certo? Depois, adicionei mais uma circunferência. Depois, fiz um extrude novamente. Criei este sketch com as duas circunferências. Uma delas eu cortei. Depois a outra cortei até o fundo. Espera aí, vou voltar para trás para vocês verem melhor. Estava assim. Depois adicionei outra vez com o mesmo sketch, cortei até o fundo. Depois então aqui adicionei um fillet, outro fillet. Um fillet para fora e um para dentro. E depois adicionei aqui mais um sketch e fiz o extrude para cortar. Mustafa, have you seen what I've done? Did you understand? I was using the timeline to see how I built this project.
I didn't understand that.
So the timeline on the bottom. You can use these arrows to know how it was built. Okay? It was adding everything. But you need to turn this on so that you can see all the parts. I'll just leave, no, I don't need sketches now. I didn't deactivate here because every time I was going to do a new sketch, I wouldn't be able to see. Okay. Have you finished this part? No? Yes? Maybe? Thank you for the feedback. I'll save again. It creates a new version. I haven't done anything, but okay. New version. Just to remind, this is 8 millimeters. This is 10. And this one inside.
It has to have those specific measures.
It doesn't, but it helps because then we can make the same cam without having too much trouble. You didn't?
No.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
What's the height of the cube?
The height of the cube 30. Okay, I'll play again. No? Qual deles? Ok, então vamos fazer o seguinte. 50 by 50, this is a function of this one. So if I change this one, it will change this one. Okay? Stop sketch. Then I extruded 30. 30. Then I created a circle with 45, the bigger circle. I extruded the circle by 25. Then I created a new sketch on the top of this one with one of the circles 8 and the other 20. So the outside is 20, the inside 8. From this one, I created the 20 cut down only 20, minus 20 to cut. And then the other, the full way, only the 8 millimeters, full way. Then I created a fillet with 10 millimeters inside the first circumference. So this edge use a fillet of 10, and then the outer edge use 1.5. Then I created a new sketch, a circle with 10 millimeters, and I've cut to the other face. Joana, o que é que se passou? O fillet fica diferente. Porquê? Vem para fora. É o fillet ou o chamfer que tu fizeste? Sim, sim, sim. Dois fillet. Fillet. Is it ready now?
Okay, mine is different.
The reason why I'm choosing the measures, it's because of the height of the tool. We might need to be careful with that, okay, when we're machining. the can. That's why I'm not doing a big piece. But if it's wider, there's not a problem.
What is the height? I can redo the
You just need to double click
you have 30, I mean,
the square, yes, and 25 for the cylinder.
okay, yeah, mine is
Is it that much different or hard to build this? It's not hard to build this. We're only using rectangles and circles, extrusions and fillet, nothing else. It's quite simple. You just need to click on the faces and extrude.
yeah, but after creating without the right measures, how do
You double click on the sketch you want and use dimension tool or the D key to resize your sketch. Not scale, but resize. So if I want to resize, I just come here and put 25. It will change back to 20. Stop the sketch. It stays the same because I didn't change anything. Ricardo, o que é que não está funcionando?
I don't have the option that has a D.
It has to be in the sketch. You have to double click on the sketch, and if you click D, it will open this icon, and then you can use on the line. You forgot everything from the in the morning. D for dimension only in the sketch. Okay, I'll go there and help. What's up? Não, isso já está. Faz. Já está. Vocês já alguma dimensão do aqui para aqui? Puxa, deixa eu gostar do dentro. Pode parecer quando eu falo que eu sei fora, ou falo de grande conteúdo, dá uma sensação que você tem as também fiz dois filmes e então tem uma aparência diferente, mas não é isso que eu fiz. Não é esse que for. Não, ele está igual. Ela confia. Isso não é melhor. As dimensões não estão a ser. As dimensões não estão feitas. Está só. Esse problema é que a altura da frente. Não dá certo com as dimensões da frente. Eu sei que será a altura principal. Isso não é. Podes fazer e adicionas os filetes depois. Quero que isso faça. Posso fazer o seguinte. Mexer nele, não percebi. E agora tentar modificar tudo. Posso fazer assim. As regras do R. Você não foi aí a trama do Batman. 30. 30. 10 na esquerda. 25. Agora o R. Vamos a deixa-me um trabalho. Deixa-me um trabalho. Sim. Usa C. Carrega na superfície. 45. Tem 45. Se a conferência é 25, está fazendo. Agora carregas no R, extrude, lá, circunferência 25. Espera 25, depois de dar-se. Ok. Agora, nós o seguinte, uma circunferência isso é o mais importante. Também pode ser só de nós primeiro, pode ser. Carrega-se para a zona de 20, tens 30, não, 12. 20 ou 12? Do lado dos 30 mais 25. Faz o terceiro. Ou seja, mas tu. Quando faltavas os. Extra. Se ele principal, não tem que fazer sempre do top, já por isto de ser. Escreve 20. Faz a seguir dos 10. Agora, tu todos os olhos, tu faz extra. Carrega que você começa a fazer. Não precisa fazer seguinte. Vais até a tu. Distance. Tu. Agora, manda a peça. Shift. Já não está bom. Atenção à timeline. Atenção à timeline. Vocês têm que ver dois timelines em cima. Agora, falta aquela circunferência de 10. Acho que isso faz um bocado do tempo.
Vamos lá, forma de fazer até o fundo desta peça. Porque assim tu vais mudar, podes mudar a altura desta peça e depois já não acompanha. Já sei o que é distance. Querem começar todas as peças. Mas copiar esta superfície.
Eu vou fazer a peça e vocês vão tentar em seguida. Tem de ser mais devagar. Ok.
Ou se tiver os tamanhos, não consegues lá.
Eu vou refazer a peça. Está bem? Pronto. Vou iniciar um novo sketch. Bah. Eu vou começar aqui no topo. Pronto. Carrego no R. Um clique e faço. Escrevo 50, tab 50. Enter. Ele criou o retângulo. Oh, sorry. You click on the R key, you make the rectangle 50, tab 50. Then you click high and it will jump to extrude. Use shift and the wheel mouse button to change the perspective, and then with the extrusion click put 30 and enter. Now we click on the C for a circle. Click on the top of this surface. It will look at the surface. Use this center and open a 45 circle. 2 enters and it will lock the circle with this dimension.
Só fazer, até agora está certo. Então, 50 por 50, com 30 de altura. Vais fazer o cerco com 45.
Já está? Is it done, the circle? Mustafa?
Quanto é que são?
O quadrado de 30. Okay. After the circle, extrude this by 25. So E, click on the surface and write 25, enter. And we have the circle. Is it working now? Estás a fazer? Está certo? Ok. Mas é para ver se conseguem acompanhar.
Just to select. So let's start from the beginning, right? It's the best.
Vitor,
Espera. Começar no Sculpt the Form. Eu não sei como é que lá.
eu posso continuar? Consegues fazer com ele?
Podes.
Ok. Let's create another sketch. Ou então vou falar em português, talvez seja mais simples. O meu sofá já está sendo ali acompanhado. Pode ser, Ana. Português, não há problema. C para circle, outra vez, nesta face. Ele vai olhar outra vez, novamente. Abrem um aqui de 20. E depois carregam novamente em circle e abrem um de 8. Fica 2 círculos. Depois carrego no E para fazer extrude. E aqui, depois para baixo. Ok. Para cima no círculo, sim, 25. Teresa, não está funcionando. 8. Ah. Puxar a seta para baixo? Não? Ah, também.
Já está tudo. É que posso ainda dar uma vez a cadeia. Quando se faz dimensão de circunferência, quando são muito pequenas, ele cria logo duas retas, vou colocar no exterior. Cria duas retas e logo.
Carregas no E agora, extrude, e faz-se menos 20 no exterior. E dar Enter. Já fez o recorte? Agora existem duas formas de fazer o corte deste centro. Ou eu ativo o sketch e uso o extrude desse sketch, ou então, mesmo sem o sketch, consigo utilizar esta face e puxar para trás e cortar. Neste caso, eu quero até o objeto e escolho a face. Ou seja, extrude, carrega-se naquela pequena circunferência do centro e faz o corte até ao fundo, usando o To Object. Novamente, Shift e o botão central do rato para navegar e mudar a perspectiva. Dar OK e pronto, já temos aqui a peça quase toda feita. Tá? Ok. Agora, o fillet, carregar no F, escolher a aresta e neste caso 10. 20 de profundidade e o outro é para atravessar. 10. Depois faço um segundo fillet para a aresta de fora de 1.5. F 1.5. Agora, para terminar, carrega-se em circunferência, escolho esta face e encontro o centro, que neste caso será aqui, e ponho 10, uma circunferência de 10. 2 enters, ele cria, extrude da circunferência para cortar novamente para trás, to object, este, ok. Já tenho a peça feita.
Mostra os pelos outra vez, como são para
Ricardo, já estás aborrecido. É complicado que todos consigam acompanhar ao mesmo ritmo. Eu até pensava que. Ah, é complicado. Eu por acaso pensava. Esta é a primeira vez que faço este workshop. Vai. A segunda.
A primeira
Eu pensava que os atalhos iam facilitar, mas parece que ainda não ficou muito bem interiorizado. Por isso eu tenho que ir mais.
Sim, mas eu estava de propósito, eu estava a tentar fazer sem atalhos.
Conhecer a.
Para conhecer os menus.
Sim, 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 sim.
Quando não foi detalhes, quando estava a fazer, fizeste muito rápido, fizeste um pouco mais devagar, dava na interpretação.
Sim, mas.
Eu tenho 3 pessoas.
Pois. Neste caso, uma coisa interessante e que não dá aqui, ou pelo menos eu nunca vi, foi no 3D ficar lá as medidas. Isso seria ideal. Ficar as dimensões enquanto nós navegávamos no 3D. Dá para colocar aqui, sim senhor, dá 30 ou então entre um e outro. Dá para colocar ali.
Fechava a peça da outra e desaparecia com toda.
Mas pronto. Tem a peça construída. Ok, vamos guardar esta peça. E depois base conector, mas vocês colocam como melhor acharem. Vamos abrir um novo design.
One question, how from 3D to the sketch, to see the measures instead of that way?
Just double click on the sketch you want and you'll see the measurements.
But if you don't know which sketch it is.
Last question. You can hover. You can if this is selected, this has to be highlighted. You just hover and see what sketch comes up, and then you edit from there. There's another way, but it takes more time. It's creating a drawing from your part, and then you need to add all measures that you want. But that's done after. Okay, so a new one, new design. We'll use the cylinder option. Just choose one plane. Make a 10mm circle. And then drag or write 100. I just want a small tube. 100 with a 10mm diameter. Now we can use, you can create a circle or come to create cylinder. Create cylinder or create a circle and then extrude. A cylinder is faster than a diâmetro 100. Diâmetro 10 e a altura de 100. You can save this one as pole. And let's open a new design again. And create a box. You can again put 50 by 50 by 50, a cube, and save as a cube. I just need to create parts to assemble, okay? Nothing special. Okay, I have a cube, a pole, and a base connector. In this case, I have 2 of them, but that might be a problem. You can. See? You have to exit the sketch menu. You have to be on the general view. Select everything and delete it if you want. It will delete everything you. You can't? You have to exit the sketch menu or extrude menu. Is it possible or not? Okay. I'll delete this one because I don't need. And it's going to be easier. Just keep deleting. And the sketches, you can also come here and delete. Okay? You're seeing? I can delete on the timeline. Also this one. Okay. So save. Always save everything. Open a new design again. Or close all of them and it will open a new window. And before doing anything, save the file and say workshop assembly. I created an empty file to make my assembly. Okay. So now I don't have any reference here. Let's start with this cube and drag from my left side to my work area. It will give me some options to move it. Okay, just leave it where it is. And I already added a component, not a body, but a component. Did you understand the difference? The body is something you created, a component is something you added. It's like an external source. I don't know if you can consider a library, but it's an external source. And it's considered as a component of something, okay? If you're assembling a camera, you have different components. So this file you created empty is your camera, and you're putting the components. Let's put another one, the base connector. Let's pull to the project. It overlaps, but you can move with the arrows a little bit. Try not to change the angle. And just leave it hovering there. Doesn't need to be a line. When you drag, it stays blue and you have some arrows. Or you can select everything, press M, choose your... here you have to change to components. And it will create a pivot. There's different options here. You can create point to point, point to position, just to drag or move. The pivot you can change by set pivot. Here, deselect and it will stay there just to move the part. Everyone has seen? No? Teresa, viste como é que se mudava o ponto? Ok. Aqui, ao contrário, tem o rotate e depois aqui, set pivot. Vocês que vejam, aqui, set pivot. Posso mudar onde é que eu quero o meu ponto de central. Carrego uma vez, desativo e ele fica lá. E agora já posso mover. Did you understand? So if you want to change the pivot, just check this, move the pivot, uncheck, and then you can move the part.
Só se pode fazer isso no momento da cópia.
Cópia? Não, podes fazer em todos. Podes fazer em todas. Tens é que definir aqui. Componente. Podes, selecionas e carregas o M para move. Ou carregas no M, defines o que é que tu queres mexer. I'll put OK. I don't need to move this anymore for now. No. Just not too far so that you have to zoom out too much. Like this, not much. So we know that this part is 50 by 50 and also our cube. We'll try to overlap each other to connect them, okay? So still in the model, you have the assembly options, new components. You can also add components from here. And you have the option joined. Press the joint. You can continue just to leave the position exactly the same, or captured position. Let's put captured position. Now you have on your right side components 1 and 2. The first one, if you see this cube, well, sorry. Before of that, yeah, I'll repeat everything. We still don't have a ground point, something that doesn't move. That usually it's needed, or you want to move later and you won't be able to on the joints. So let's select this component here, right click and use the first option, ground. It means this part won't move and will be the base for everything. Right click here on the cube, ground. Vai aparecer ground no de vocês. You can also make unground if you want and choose another one. From here you can also break the link. So since these parts are from other files, they're connected to the other files. If we change the other files, you'll get a warning. You have a new version for this part. You can update or leave it like this. If you don't want that, you can break the link and it has a new component without any link to the other file. And this is where you break the link or update the version. We'll try that later. So you ground the cube. Now let's add a joint. Capture the position. First component. Let's say this one. Here. Assemble, join. As you can see, it gives you a preview of several points where you can use all over the part. In this case, I want to use this corner. As you can see, it also rotates a little bit the disk. Let's place it like this, with the disk up, click once, then use this corner with the disk up again. If you click, the part will go there, and it creates a rigid type of motion. So this joint is rigid, and you can only create an offset on either direction, maybe some angle. These are new features, but after you click OK, it won't move this part. everything is locked. This is a rigid connection, okay? You have to be careful the position of the small disk, the white disk that shows up. If it's not right, it's going to rotate the part and not connect in the right place. I'll get some water while you try to connect. Okay. Mustafa, have you managed to connect it? Okay. Let's place another base connector. Just pull a little bit left, and we'll prepare. Just be careful with the axis you move, so it won't make weird positions. I want to rotate this 90 degrees so that I can connect to the other side. And press OK. Doesn't need to be in the exact spot, but I want similar to this to create a new joint. Pull a new part, rotate it so that it can stay close to the main block, and we'll try to connect everything. No, drag. It takes a little bit to load. Don't click too much after pulling, or it will deselect and then you'll have to Control Z or try to get the part to move. Okay? So if you just drag and click, it's not showing up. Then you do the part is inside my block now and I can't do anything. You have to be careful with that. Or you just come to this and use move and remove it from inside the cube. You can also do that. Because usually people just drag, oh, it's not showing up anything. Okay, now the part is there and you don't know. You can just come here, right click, move, and you get the arrows again just to move your part. Okay? If you want, if you finish the first one, you can add the second one. Am I going too fast now? Or
para manter as mobilidade. Vamos deixar assim. Agora vamos juntar todas as peças. Já juntaste as peças todas?
Sim.
Remove as últimas duas. Que é para fazer outros tipos de junção. Está bem. Or you're still moving that one?
Because it's not coming.
Wait. Just first, you open a sketch. I don't know why you're using a sketch. Wait. This can be shaped. Stop sketch. You have a sketch here. That you don't know. This can be closed. You have a. You have 1, 2, 3. So you came here. Just need to do it. That was that. I was saying to be careful not to overlap parts. Then you can rotate here. You just change a little bit the perspective. We'll get there. Tá errado. Sim, então. Mas o seguinte, seleciona a pessoa. Agora tudo. Isso. Vou dar para escolher. Vou usar aquela mão. Qual é que achas que é isso? Olha outra vez a perspectiva. Tens que trabalhar a perspectiva. Muito diferente. Diferente para a peça. Não, não é igual. Tu fizeres é exatamente. Pronto. Agora tens este que faz assim. Conhece assim. Tens de puxar a peça por baixo. Já está. O facto de este. Você tem. Mas é a direção. É o eixo. É o eixo. Você tem que se fazer passar. Verdade, não sei. Obrigado, conseguiste. Pronto. Ok. Os formantes. Fogo. Você tinha de dar para cima e para baixo. Já mostrei em todas as operações que aparece uma seta. Dá... Okay. Let's try to connect another joint. So again, click on joint. Continue just to keep. Oop, no. It gets the last position of the parts. So capture position to stay as it is. This time we'll try to put something movable. In this case, I want this center to rotate like this. I want to rotate this with this. So the arrow has to stay perpendicular to the edge, and then this one also in the center perpendicular. You can already put with some angle, but I don't want that. And here you have to change from rigid to revolute. So it will give the freedom to the part on rotating on that axis. So now I can move this part.
as I wish. Yes, the second one. If you want to edit your joints, just double click on the icons it shows. Or even better, here on the timeline, double click. You can also make an offset and it will rotate there. Okay, so they have some extra options to offset the parts related to that axis.
Mine is not letting to press OK. So I start with one.
You have to see if everything is selected. So first component, second component, and the type of Revolut. Okay, I'll go there to check. Meanwhile, the others should draw, I think. It depends on the what thing they have. Porque só pode ter um ponto de ancoragem como referência. Desculpa? Não interessa. Depois tu consegues mover, por isso podes deixar a 90 ou a 0. Como tu a seguir consegues mexer, isso não faz muito sentido estares a colocar um ano. Mustafa, have you managed to put the Revolut?
Yes, but the way I want it, it's not going that way.
That's why every time you put the anchor, the small disc, you have to be careful if the disc is in this direction, this one, or this one. This one, this one, or this one.
And I have another problem, like if I put all those dates, sometimes it deleted some of the formula. Like I want to like change the last thing again, so it's not going to just delete the whole the form.
Maybe because you haven't pressed OK. It doesn't save anything while you don't press OK or enter.
That's the problem.
Because if you do everything and then just escape key will delete everything. You have to press OK. Because it doesn't know if you want that change or not. So you need to press OK. Conseguiram? Vitor, Joana, Sara. Let's try another joint type slider. So what we can do with the slider is choose again. I'll have to try first on this one and see. Okay, this is what I wanted. So now this one can slide only on this axis. Okay, and it's connected by this line and this one. I can't change the angle, they're perpendicular or parallel, but I can slide them there. I can change the axis where it slides. and I can also put some angle to slide. In this case, uh, having the angle, it's a little bit better, or it has an objective than the revolute. Because if it's a revolute, why would you set the angle? Okay, so this is my slider. There's a lot other options for this. I won't show everything, or we'll take the whole afternoon just for assemblies. I'll just show you that we don't want this parts going inside others. We can limit this. So that's why here they have enable contact sets. And in this case, let me see if I can remember. New contact set, this one and this one. Okay. Now it doesn't go inside the cube. Okay, I'll repeat. This goes inside. You enable contacts and then create a new contact set. What this does is asks one object and the other, so these two cannot go inside each other. And you press OK. It will stay with the revolute, but doesn't let you pass over the surface. And this is good to limit the motion you have on your part, and it doesn't let you make crazy stuff on the assembly. We created the pole. We can pull the pole. Up. Let's try to rotate our pole to 90 degrees in this direction and place it close to our part. I'll open the pole again, pole file, or first save this one. Okay, save the assembly again. Go back to the pole and make a thread on this. I don't care about the step of the thread, and save this one. Make a change on the pole file. Just place a thread. Just need to go to create, thread, and click on the surface. And then OK. It creates the thread on the pole with the M10 screw. Save. For a just save, and it creates a new version. Okay. When we go back to the assembly, we have one part or one warning. One component is out of date. Click here to update all the out of date references. We might not want to update all of them. You can do individually by right-clicking on the component and get latest or choose the version. If I get the latest, it will get the version I created or saved. And now my pole has the thread. Okay, just by Vou pôr esse assim. Pronto, tu tens isto. Tens três setas, ou duas se tu tiveres assim em perspectiva de frente. Tens que carregar no Shift, a roda, e assim já vai aparecer 3. Tu tens que ver qual é o que, pegando na perspectiva, digamos que este vai fazer assim, mas se tu mudares assim de frente, ele vai rodar sobre si mesmo, não faz diferença. Já percebeste? Por isso é que é importante usar sempre a rodinha e o shift para ver o que é que se está passando à volta das peças.
How do you update the component? I already changed the form, but it's not updating in my new design.
You didn't save the file.
Yes,
You saved?
the new,
You saved the poll file.
yes,
It will make the thread. When you go back, it has to give you the warning.
yes, give me one, but I cannot change it to this.
To update to the new version, you can click on the warning up here, or right click and get latest. In this case, it doesn't show up, but you can put get latest. Okay? There's 2 options.
Also,
Yeah.
3 of my pieces are transparent.
That's because you double clicked on one of them. Try to escape.
On my screen.
No? Usually it means when you enter the part, double click the component, it will try to edit only that component.
Tem essas coisas que eu não gosto.
Já mostro o que é que aconteceu ao céu. So what happened with Sarah was this. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts on my design, and Sarah somehow
I love what you said somehow. I have it.
it's not showing up on mine.
Why is
Can you see this radio button here on the end? It was supposed to show up here. I don't know if yours has, but she tried to edit this, and this small ball was here, and it only highlights one part. If you want to go back to your assembly with all the parts, you just need to click here to activate your component, or all of them.
What I did was break the connection because it has 3 copies of that thing.
Uh-huh.
3 versions, and I deleted the other 2. I'm deleting in my original file.
Okay.
Oh, that's why it appears the ball.
Okay, she imported 3 parts at once, and it stays as one component. But even if it's one component, you can move individually each part.
Agora aqui as 3, mas apaguei os 2, tudo ou não.
Porquê que não copiaste uma vez e usaste um de cada, para cada lado?
Mas é o mesmo.
Tá bem, não interessa. Agora, dá de qualquer das formas. Everyone has the pole with the threads and all these parts. We'll try to join this pole inside this hole. So what we can do is joint, capture position, use the center on this one, and you can either choose this side or this side. You just need to be sure which one do you want to have on a flat surface. So I want this one. It will center the pole. In this case, I left as a slider. I can put as a revolute. You can see the small arrow, it's rotating. Let's play a little bit more so that you can understand. You can put the X if you're having trouble choosing the Y. In this case, it's only the Z. A ball, so it moves freely only on that position. You can rotate, but with that kind of movement. So these are different kinds of. If you leave rigid, it doesn't move. That's why it vibrates everything. As a slider, let's say if you have two threads, one inside your part and one on the shaft, you can make the thread go and flow with the same rate of the thread. But that's what we call motion links, and it's a little bit harder to implement. Takes more time that we don't have. Okay, let's just leave it revolute. Okay, and now you can see or check that your thread can rotate on each other, on its own axis. Ok? Revolute. Mas o Revolute tem que estar no centro, não se esqueçam que o círculo tem que estar no centro do veio e no centro do furo. Senão ele não vai alinhar. This has to be aligned here. This looks a bad joint. It's not. This is because of the thread. It has an angle and it looks like it's not connected. But if the shaft was calibrated, it would fit perfectly inside the hole. 10 with a 10 shaft. 10mm hole with a 10mm shaft. And we wouldn't notice this small gap. Okay. Any questions about the assembly thing? Any ideas? Anything you want to try? Don't forget you can add you can add contact sets to avoid parts from going through the others, because it looks stupid when you're making an assembly. That's the same as creating some kind of animation, and then the arm goes through the body or something like that. That's stupid. And the same happens here. You have to set up the contacts. Assim, isto? Porque isto depende do. Este foi o Revolute que nós colocamos, por isso é que ele consegue se mover. Não, só carregas com o rato e moves. Está mexendo tudo. Está mexendo tudo. Só se deixaram rigid. Isso está tudo não.
Se nós mexemos o rigid na mão
Podes editar, clicas no ícone do motion. Tu selecionaste aqui o contact center. Enable contact center. Mas depois tens que adicionar. Mas ele não está mexendo. Este está mexendo. Não fez nada de especial, exatamente. Tem a ver com o ponto às vezes onde nós agarramos.
Ok. You can save, close the poll. Estão a ver aqui este símbolo? Mustafa? So this symbol here is the rigid connection we created first. This symbol here looks like a flag. It's the revolute symbol. This symbol is the slider. And every time you add, you can also go to the timeline and edit them for a different result. Okay. As an example, me and Victor went to Lisbon to the Fab Lab meeting, Fab Lab event, Portugal Fab Lab, and there is a group that created a whole 3D printer on Fusion 360 with all the junctions and parts that the actual 3D printer has. And you could remove some of the parts, explosions, and they create big parts with Fusion, and then sometimes they take this to the simulation here, to the simulation to calculate the stress on the materials. This is a big, really powerful tool for engineers that usually creates products, and you can test basically everything here on the product. Just need time and expertise on each part. I'm far from that. Okay. Everyone managed to create the movements we've placed here. These are the most used. I won't cover all of them. You can try later if you're interested. We're going to prepare now. Let's open only the base connector again. And we're going to try to machine this part now. Let's consider that we're going to work with aluminium or aluminum, as you wish. You go to the cam. Anyone knows what cam or CAD means? Everyone works with CAD and no one knows the meaning. Computer aided design for CAD, and CAM, computer aided manufacturing. So let's try not to forget this, because for engineers, for the designers, not knowing what is CAD, it's a little bit bad. For others that work with CAM, also should be good to know. But it's computer aided design manufacturing, okay? Or one or the other. Okay, the interface is the same again. They basically give more importance or the flow of what you're going to need. If let's go back to model, you can see that every design starts with a sketch. That's why the sketch is in the first place. Then it starts with the extrudes and all the profile creating stuff. Then with the modifiers for your parts, assembly. So it has a flow of building something here. And they make exactly the same with CAM. You start from the left to the right. You first need to define the size of your block of material. That's why they create, or maybe before that, let's make a small uh, break, and I'll start the cam with you. We are here for 1 hour and a half. I think it's enough. Make a small break. 15 minutes, 20.